Hey everybody, Tony here from High Tech Check. I finally got my HTC Vive, so now I'm going to give you my full review on the unit. I previously did do a semi-review from when I demoed it at GameStop, so I'll put a link in the description below so you can watch that video first. And this is the full real review on the consumer version. And now that I've had a chance to play games with the consumer version Vive for extended periods of time, I have noticed a little discomfort from it being pressed against my face. I definitely notice I'm having to adjust it quite a few times when it sits in one spot on my face for too long. Now, as far as the screen door effect, it was really minimal, if at all. You kind of really had to be looking for it. The only complaint about the headset I have is the resolution. I definitely noticed that things from kind of far in the distance were kind of pixelated. Now, this pixelation seemed to differ from game to game. Some games seem to be made at a lower resolution than others. The demo Robot Repair was definitely a great example of a higher resolution game. It was beautiful and really lifelike, especially when you looked at things up close. Now, for my first review, I was telling you that things were kind of fuzzy, and I can definitely say now that the fuzziness was just a problem of the headset not being adjusted for my eyes. There's this little adjustment knob on the side right here that moves the lenses closer together or further away. And if it's even just a little out of sync, things will look fuzzy while you're playing games. So you're definitely going to want to play around with that. I would recommend adjusting it all the way to one side, putting the headset on, and then slowly adjusting it the opposite way until things were crystal clear. And you also have to make sure that the straps are adjusted properly, because if the headset isn't sitting correctly in your head, that can really cause things to be fuzzy too. So you're going to want to take some time to properly adjust this on your head. The top strap here, it sits perfectly when you get it. I had to tighten it a little bit so it kind of doesn't sit right in there, which kind of stinks, but what are you going to do? So you adjust it the way that you really need to be to fit perfectly on your head. Now, the headset comes adjusted for the best possible field of view, and that's going to be adjusted with these little knobs on the side. If you pull them out, you can adjust this piece further back if you have glasses. Now, like I said, it's adjusted for the best possible field of view when you first get it, and the only time you want to adjust these knobs if you're having to wear glasses. Now, even with the best possible view, you'll still see a little black outline of the headset on the outside edge of your eyes, but that's really only if you're paying attention to it. When you're in a game, you really don't even notice it. Now, onto the halo effect I told you about from my GameStop review. It's still there in the consumer version, and again, it's really only noticeable when you have a very high contrasting background and foreground. Say, like, the background's really dark and something in your foreground's really light, then you can see those little round circles, and that's because of these Fresnel lenses that they use in here. I don't know if you can see this too good, but the lenses have all these little rings around them, and you can see those really good when you're just looking at the headset like we are right now. And when you're in the game, you really the outside edges of these rings, if at all. But like I said, it's only in certain situations, and it's really minimal. It doesn't have a huge impact on the, your experience. But now I also told you about how they are really finicky, and that seemed to be at GameStop because they were having a hard time adjusting them. But having adjusted the Lighthouses myself, I can definitely say that the sync issue is not as bad at the house. They will lose sync every so often, but it's only for a few seconds, and then you're right back in the game. I can tell you that if you have your Lighthouses on tripods, like I do, and not mounted to something that is rock solid, you may get a slight jitter to your controllers or visual things inside the games, because the Lighthouses do vibrate a fair amount when they're on. I noticed a lot of people saying that they're really loud, and I didn't really hear them making any noise unless you get right up next to them with your ear, so that's not really a big issue. The controllers have pretty good battery life. You should be able to get 3 or 4 days of gameplay out of them before you have to recharge, providing you only use them for a few hours at a time, but that's way plenty for me. Oh, and I will say, playing the games where you're standing still but things are moving around you, like on Windlands, you'll definitely limit your game time, because if you're like me, you'll be pretty nauseous after 15 minutes of the gameplay. So the battery life on the controllers are way plenty enough. I mean, even if you got a few days worth of it, I think it's still worth it, because you just plug them in overnight. But Oculus and HTC Vive, this is the first time we've really seen real VR. And most of the games are pretty short right now, but that's because the VR is still in its infancy. But the game experiences are still amazing. It's nothing like anything I've ever experienced before. And like I said, this is true VR. It's not like, Google Cardboard or some of the other things that they used to have back in the day, like Nintendo's virtual VR headset thing. It was nothing compared to this. So I definitely recommend, if you had a chance to test one out at GameStop or Microsoft Store, I definitely recommend trying it out. And just make sure before you buy one that your PC can handle it, because it'll definitely have an impact on your experience. So that's my review on the HTC Vive. I hope this helped everybody kind of make their decision on whether or not they should try to buy one. So if you guys like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm definitely going to be making some more videos with the HTC Vive. I also have another channel too where I play our games, so if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, I'll put a link in the description below there too. So again, like I said, I hope this video helped you guys make your decision on whether or not you want to try out the Vive. I definitely recommend it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.